Merry Christmas! And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then happy holidays. During this season, I always love me some Christmas movies. You got all the classics like A Christmas Prince, The Royal Wedding, A Christmas Prince, The Royal Baby, Holiday Date, Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe, A Christmas Switch, The Christmas Switch, those are different movies, The Princess Switch, The Princess Switch Switched Again, The Night Before Christmas, in which a 13th century knight travels to 2019 and falls in love with someone. This year I wanted to try something different though. I wanted to watch a new Christmas movie, and not just watch Home Alone for the 237th time. So I hopped on Netflix, searched up Christmas, and clicked on the first result, a Netflix original called The Christmas Chronicles. Now, surprisingly enough, this isn't a completely horrible movie, which is unexpected. This movie is just insane. Like, what the hell is happening in this movie? What is The Christmas Chronicles? The movie is about this girl called Kate and her brother Teddy. Since they are the protagonists of a Christmas movie, their dad is, of course, dead, and they don't get along well. So one day, this girl Kate catches her brother and the boys stealing a car. Then they fight because Kate had it all on video, and their mom comes in and catches them. Instead of exposing Teddy here, Kate decides not to tell her mom that Teddy stole a car, which leaves you wondering where the hell is the car, and why the police aren't on these teenagers who stole a car. I don't know, maybe that's resolved in a sequel. Yes, there is a sequel to this movie. It's called The Christmas Chronicles 2, because it is The Christmas Chronicles 2. It's a clever twist on the name. That was a stupid joke. So Kate over here is looking through some old tapes, not the sticky kind, and she sees a glove that may belong to none other than Santa Claus. So she tells Teddy, and with barely any convincing, they start devising a Home Alone type plan. But instead of all these cool traps, it's just a string that leads to some jingle bells, and they set up camera and put some type of dust on the floor to see his footprints. I wanted them to throw buckets at him and electrocute the living hell out of him. So once they get Santa on camera, they follow him outside to see his giant sleigh with all the reindeer. Just a giant, unprotected sleigh floating. There's no defense mechanisms or protective barriers to stop people from jumping onto the sleigh, which is exactly what Kate does. And that causes Teddy to do it too. Santa doesn't even care about anyone finding out he's real. He just goes about throughout the entire movie saying, "I'm Santa, I know your name and everything you've ever done," and then he gets arrested. So anyways, Santa gets into the sleigh and he starts leaving, but he somehow doesn't realize that Kate and Teddy are on his sleigh. They're literally talking, and he's just sitting there without a clue to what's going on. Kate falls off the sleigh, and Santa finally realizes that there are two kids in his sleigh, so he tries to save Kate and loses all the reindeer. He also loses his hat, which gives him magical powers, his sack with all the presents, and they crash in Chicago. Then Santa says that these two are on the naughty list for life because he can't find his hat and his reindeer, and his sleigh is broken, which is fair. Then this whole naughty list for life problem isn't touched upon again throughout the movie. After the sleigh incident, Santa and these two kids head into a bar, and without any reasoning whatsoever, he convinces the hostess that he's Santa, and she immediately just wants to help this stranger who just came in and said he's Santa Claus. Then Santa starts naming the people there and tries to bribe them into giving him a car, and the manager, I guess, who got out of prison chases them until the hostess just straight up makes him trip. So I guess we know who's going to be unemployed for New Year's. Anyways, Teddy steals some car keys to get the manager's car, and since the manager is a criminal and had already stolen the car, their reasoning is that they can steal it since it's already a stolen car. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. One second. Is it? Well, the best Google could do is tell me that if you knowingly buy a stolen car, then you can be arrested. So I'm going to assume that applies for stealing a stolen car as well. This guy eventually calls the police on this, and the police start to chase Santa Claus, a little girl, and an underage kid driving a car through the streets. Kate finds the reindeers, and Santa is arrested for breaking into a house and possible child abduction, while Teddy manages to escape with Kate on the reindeer. And they all fly away, and somehow only one officer managed to see this. While Kate and Teddy try to find the sack with all the toys in it, Santa's being interrogated by Dave the cop. Santa then proceeds to take all the presents that Dave asked for at Christmas when he was a child from his coat. But if Santa can just take out presents from his coat, why do we need to find the sack? Well, that's because the North Pole is inside the sack of presents. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. Santa tells Dave that since the Christmas spirit is going down, crime is going to start to rise, which makes no sense because according to this movie's logic, everyone is asleep and Christmas hasn't arrived yet, so how could the Christmas spirit be down if nobody knows that Santa can't make it? Then he tells Dave that his ex-wife wants him back, so naturally Dave locks him up because he thinks this guy's a stalker. Teddy and Kate find the sack of presents after an emotional moment where they got to bond. Then Kate enters the sack and Teddy is abducted by some guys who just randomly came over to this kid with a sack and decided that they could cause some trouble over there. So inside the sack, Kate finds some presents, which makes sense because it's a sack of presents, but then she falls through this hole and gets teleported through present heaven and ends up in the North Pole. Meanwhile, back in jail, Santa performs a musical number with all the prisoners because he took some instruments out of his coat, and this is just such a banger of a song. I don't remember the lyrics or anything. I just remember Santa yelling, "Anyone got a piano in this joint?" and then smashing his hand onto a piano. The one cop who saw the reindeer flying is enjoying every second of it, while he stands next to Dave, who I presume is really confused. At the North Pole, Kate goes looking through her brother's Christmas cards, even though Santa is arrested and Christmas is at stake, and she finds that Teddy wrote to Santa that year, asking Santa to bring back their dad from the dead. Then she stumbles upon the elves, which actually look horrendous. Get them out of my face, please. We then find out that Kate's entire family is a true believer of Santa, except Teddy. In the overworld, Teddy's at the thugs' lair, where the main thug takes a present from the sack and opens it to find coal. And the others do so too. And they find coal. And they throw the sack of coal into an incinerator, which causes a lot of smoke. They inhale it and die. Just kidding! What actually happens is that all the elves come out of the sack as well as Kate, and they beat the ever-living crap out of the thugs. So Teddy, Kate, and the elf monsters go to save Santa from jail. After the musical number, Dave gets a call from his ex-wife, and the elves give Santa his hat, which he uses to turn into dust and leave through the vents. With only an hour left of the night, they deliver all the presents to the rest of North America, because that's the last place they needed to deliver the presents to. I'm pretty sure at least 50% of Chicago knows that Santa's real, but hey, they make it, and Santa gives Teddy his hat, so he can use it to steal cars quicker, and their mom arrives just in time to open presents. Instead of bringing his dad from the dead, turns out Santa gave Teddy a Christmas ornament where he can see his reflection, which is supposed to indicate that Teddy is a clone of his so-called father. And with that, we see that Teddy's name appears in the Book of True Believers. So that's the Christmas Chronicles. I was surprised it wasn't a horrible movie. This is a funny movie, not because of the jokes, but because of all the insane crap that happens. It's just a joy to watch through and laugh, but this movie is not a well-made movie. This movie is perfectly meh. But if you don't take this movie seriously, it's a really fun movie. So happy holidays and happy new year. 2020 is finally over. It's been a crap year, but hopefully 2021 will be a better year. And that's the end of 2020 Movie Nick Films.